So we really approached Boys Club with like a brand first thinking. Like, how does everything look and feel consistent? How do we speak to a certain type of person with the things that we're talking about? And that was the intention from the beginning. Like, everything that we are producing, every piece of content that we're putting out, like, there has to be a continuity to it. And I think, at least my experience so far of Web3 has been that is not the case with most stuff in this space. Like, it's a lot of sort of protocol and dev first thinking, which provides a lot of innovation, technological innovation, but doesn't have a lot of brand thinking around it. So I think that's like part of the key to the success that maybe we've had in growing our community and growing our reach, is that you see something and like, you're like, oh yeah, that's Boys Club. And like, there's something about that really helps it sort of like be pervasive in the way that it finds its like little nooks and crannies in other spaces. I don't know, Deana, if you have more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like we pay a lot of attention to brand. We pay a lot of attention to voice. We try and figure out ways to make analogies or tie it back to things in pop culture or the lives of people that we know are in our community that we'll care about. And I think the biggest thing, our biggest sort of advantage and the thing that makes us different from a lot of other groups in Web3 and is we're very like humor and fun focused. Like, we keep it, that's pretty much like a top value for us, which is like, how do we keep this fun and funny and like use that as, and that's like our personality. And so I think that like has worked really hard in like attracting someone who was sort of looking around the space previously and been like, oh man, all this stuff feels sort of dry and feels like serious. And like, if I'm like doing like researching this on like my nights and weekends, like I'm not going to like, it's just a lot more fun to do it in a space that like has that type of energy to it. And I would encourage this for other communities as well. Like, we've been very intentional about doing a lot of experiments. So we were like, oh, let's just try a newsletter. I don't know like what a newsletter is going to be. And now it's like one of the most important channels for us to communicate with the community. Like, the Discord's there and it's great, but like that doesn't give reach, and nor should it, right? Because if you have a Discord with hundreds of thousands of people, like, it's useless. So we've sort of, in terms of how we define like community versus audience, community is like, it's pretty intimate. Like, it's our Discord and it's people who have sort of applied and have joined and like understand the context for Boys Club and are maybe interested in participating in the DAO and like participating in sort of governance and all these things and being a contributor to the DAO, versus audience, which is this sort of top of funnel that you're referencing, which is like some of these experiments that we're running on newsletter or on podcast. And I mean, you get this, you're doing it, but I think that like, just sort of like willingness to experiment and like just ship stuff has worked out for us well so far.
One thing I'll add, and this is, I mean, sort of marketing 101, but for people who are interested, is like, we're very channel specific. So we know what is going to be right for the newsletter. We're thoughtful about what's a right thing to put in Discord, and like Twitter is like super different, obviously, than like the type of thing that you're talking about on Instagram. And like, I think that there's like first principles of marketing, I think, are sort of lost in Web3, and just coming at it with that perspective, I think, has been really useful for us.